Hello, class. Okay, for today's class, we're going to explore how to make recycled fabric collages. So it's gonna look like a quilt square made out of recycled fabric, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. So let's get started step by step. What we're gonna need is glue. You're gonna need glue, one per table, and we're gonna learn to share really nicely. And before we get started, also let me tell you a little bit about the process of creating imaginary abstract landscapes. So as you can see, there's another idea here. There's a light fabric. This one was actually made out of recycled hand-painted papers. We're gonna use recycled fabrics. So you could get a light fabric here for the mountains. Okay, so you could cut like a piece like this out of a fabric and pretend that's a mountain, okay, for the lighter one. And then another piece here and overlap them. Okay, so you're gonna be building it little by little by cutting little strips of fabrics and overlapping them. And you're gonna glue it all on top of one large piece of fabric like this once you decide what to do and how the composition would be. Okay, I also used a black marker to draw stitches on my fabric. We're gonna be just gluing, but it gives a really nice look to it when you add a little bit stitch marks, make it look like it was sewn as well. A nice tip when you cut a piece of fabric is to fry it, so pull on some of these threads, and that can add to your composition of all the different textures you're gonna find in the fabric. They're gonna just naturally pop with that extra fray and look more artistic. So once you decide on how you want to layer them on your special composition, whether you want to keep it simple or you want to make a sun in the background, make it more complex. Cutting circle can be a little more difficult than a strip, so you can try that. Or you can cut a half circle and see if that's gonna fit. Once you decided how it's gonna look like, we're gonna glue it, and I'll show you in a minute how to glue it. I want to also show you all about some ideas. See, these are really roughly cut. This is actually torn handmade paper. So you have clouds, you can do a little sun. It doesn't have to be perfect. Little mountains or water. Okay, so it's just like strips of paper here. We're gonna use strips of fabric. And think about the kind of landscape you like to portray. This is an interesting composition here. It's by the artist called Hundertwasser, and I can show you in class. He's very famous for imaginative landscapes. So this is a composition of buildings in real life that are built like that, very imaginary. Okay, so our quilts, we're gonna recycle fabric and do really good by environment making it. And in all times, the quilts are very beautiful tradition, especially here in America, where our grandmas were making quilts for a long time in order that for generations to enjoy, and as a decor, home decor, and very functionality as well. So we're now learning how to compose a nice composition that is pleasing to the eye. You get to choose your colors and everything. With the gluing, once you decide how you layer it, you're gonna put it all aside and you're gonna start gluing the thing that is on the top first, so that you can glue this on top of that, this on top of that, this on top of that. Okay, so decide what is gonna be on top of what, and then you start gluing. Okay, so my first thing is all the way in the back, so start gluing there. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue, and we can share on the table, okay, from the glue bottle. And just spread it once it's on the fabric. So you can also use back of your scissors to help spread, since you're already cutting. Okay, back of your scissors, and that's gonna adhere to glue really well to the fabric. You can also use your fingers, okay, once you put the dots in there. Okay, so now the next layer was this, so I'm gonna put some glue on the back, just like that. That should be good. I'm gonna flip it over and seal each layer really well so it doesn't fall off. So you can use the back of your scissors like I am doing. You can also now use your fingers like an iron, so it adheres really nice and flat and it doesn't fall off. I already put these marker touches, but you can do that last. But mine, I already put it in there prior, but do that last after you glue everything. And try not to have glue coming onto the fabric like all over here, so your hands doesn't get sticky, so your hands are clean. So only don't put it all the way on the edges so the glue doesn't come sticking out from here. Okay, I'm gonna wedge this piece so I am going to wedge this piece of burlap like on top, but I'm not gonna put any glue on this. I am just gonna lay it here, and then what I'll decide to do is that I am going to put a piece of fabric, and that I'm gonna put glue there, because you see all the holes, it would just fall off, and I'm just gonna hold it with this piece of fabric. So I'm gonna put some glue on my piece of fabric here and shake the bottle if it's not coming out. Okay, and then just overlap this area if you're using burlap too, so that it will secure that burlap in there, and that should hold up. Okay, all right, that's gonna hold it. See, it's not falling off. So once this dries, it's gonna hold the burlap as well in there. And notice my color collection, I used, we're gonna pick your color from these recycled circles. They're different tapestries, so you're gonna choose your main color as a background, a flat one, and I chose really natural colors in blues and tans and natural browns like burlap. You will be able to pick some nice colors on your team, and then I'll help you cut it, or you can cut it yourself if you're in older grades. And I'm gonna have some sharper scissors and cut few strips for little hands, but for the older grades you can use your smaller scissors, they work as well. I'm doing 2 at a time, but just to show you, I just freeform some kind of landscape design. You can also pre-sketch it. So if I was going to make some mountains, I can pre-sketch some mountains and then cut some peaks here, triangles out. You can use different shapes to convey a landscape that you like. Okay, so if I still wanted to add to my landscape, I suggest about 3 layers. You can put a 4th layer too, but don't run out of space, so don't put too much. I'm already covering my nice X's that look like sewing, so I don't know if I want to do too much here or just leave this one. I'm gonna just make another one, and I'll cut this one down the middle. So I will have 2 different versions I can use. I can use the mountain version like this, or I can use this river-like look. Okay, so different scraps of paper. So let's try. I really like this one. So when you're very happy with your composition, you can start working on the marker and some details and then let it dry and put your name on the back. If you have the one with the paper on the back, like we have from recycling these books, they all have a little strip here. So if you get the strip one, you can write your name on the back, and it tells you the color, which is really nice. It says it's 60% cotton and 40% polyester, and it's dusty blue. That's a nice color. So I'm gonna sign my name, Miss Kramer, art class. You're gonna put your grade, mine is just art class, and your class code. So your class code would be the name of your homeroom teacher and your grade. Okay, so class code. And we'll go over what our class code is. So you're gonna put your name and your class code on the back. So I know what grade, G3 or G1, G2, G4, G5. So I know what grade made it and what is your name. And then at the end, we're gonna choose to make a quilt and put these together and glue these on a larger background. Imaginary abstract landscape. Okay, let's try different background. So I'm gonna just show you another background. Maybe this time I'll choose pink, why not? So let me see. Or should I choose something natural like this? We have lots of different choices here, lots of pretty colors. Maybe a tan color like this one, brown or green. It would be interesting to do like a nice forest background. I'll try the green to show you. I'm gonna cut this one for you using my bigger scissors because they're sharper. So when you choose your color, I'll cut it for you. I'm gonna see, I have to cut it straight. Just like this. And now that I have my background, just like I worked on right now, I'm gonna put this aside as an example, and I'm gonna start my designing process. So I had this left over, a little circle left over, so I'm gonna maybe this time put it lower. Maybe I'll pretend that mountains are now higher and sun setting is somewhere on like some kind of water. So there might be a river here. Maybe it's flowing differently this time. Maybe I'm gonna put these as waves overlapping like that. Looks like a lake with a sunset and mountains behind there. I really like that. Okay, and your table will also get a piece of burlap, so we can cut a small piece and use it in our composition. You might already have small pieces because we're gonna be using these burlaps and reusing all bits and pieces of old fabrics already cut up for us. But I'm thinking I'm gonna wedge this burlap. I'm gonna cut off the edges, and maybe I'm gonna be using it right in the middle so it glues also better, because it has all those openings, and I need to overlap it so that it stays on the fabric. Okay. So, and the sunset is, I'm gonna pretend it's sunsetting into the water right there, and those are waves. So I made another one. Let's compare with this one. Pretty nice. So we have one, we have the two, and I showed you the process on the first one. It's the same on the other one. So don't forget, you have to remember how it's gonna go. Pick it all up and move it to the side so you can see how it goes together. And then the ones in the back goes first. So the one all the way in the back goes first. So the mountains were in the back this time. So I'm putting the glue here. And you can put it right there. And I'm going to use, even you can use a marker if you have it to spread the glue or your hands. Okay, then my second layer was this one. And this one I'm not gonna put glue on. I'm just gonna wedge it with this layer. And the sun was going to be there too. And then last layer was this, remember? So always to overlap. So we're gonna go ahead and glue the sun now. I'm gonna put some glue. I'm not going all the way to the edges because otherwise the glue will go into the fabric out. So don't put anything on the edges. It actually, when you put it down and you spread it, it actually will touch the edges because the glue will spread to the edge. So it's, you see the glue is already there on the edge. So you can just push it like that. Okay, and then this fabric will have to hold the bottom. So we're gonna put the glue here on the firm fabric. Like that, like a little line. See? And I'm gonna turn it over. I'm gonna go ahead and put it there. That's gonna hold it, and this other fabric will also catch some of that burlap too. So I'm gonna overlap this and this like that. So I'm gonna put my, oh, I wanted this side up because it's prettier, see? So I'm gonna put the glue on this side. Always check which one is the reverse side, which side has the pretty design. The really beautiful design on this one, the flowers are here on this side, so I don't want to put it upside down. Okay, so now I have two awesome quilt squares. I'll take my black marker and I am going to add some lines, straight lines to my landscape. And I'm gonna put some X's here. Or you can put two dots, like if there are buttons or different stitches, kinds of stitches. And I think I like it. I'm not gonna add too much. What you also can do is If you just want like a little, like if there was a little fence in front of this beautiful like here, and you want just a little piece, just tug it under this big fabric. Like it could be wreaths or some kind of plants coming around the lake too. Whatever is your imagination. So I hope you loved this lesson, and I hope you had fun recycling these beautiful fabrics, and I'll see you in class, and I can't wait what it's gonna look like. Now is your turn.